Hello friends, welcome to our video on Ashwa Old Coins. The British one-penny coin has undergone significant changes throughout its history. Below is a detailed exploration of its evolution in terms of design, production, historical context, and geography during the years 1917, 1938, and 1963, and Elizabeth LL 2-pence coin from 1996 and 1971. The 1917 British one-penny coin is an important numismatic item in the history of the United Kingdom's coinage. It offers both historical significance and cultural insights into the period during which it was minted. Here's a comprehensive look at the coin's history, design, and context. Background: World War I and British currency. The year 1917 falls in the middle of World War I, which lasted from 1914 to 1918. The war deeply impacted the British economy, society, and its currency. The British Empire was embroiled in a global conflict that led to significant financial strains, necessitating adjustments in various areas, including coinage. During the First World War, Britain experienced inflation and a rising cost of living. This, combined with the strain of funding the war effort, led to a shortage of certain metals, particularly copper. In response, the Royal Mint began experimenting with different materials and designs for coins, including the one-penny coin, to adapt to wartime economic pressures. The 1917 one-penny coin was part of the pre-decimal coinage system, and its design reflected the tradition of British coins of the time. It was struck in bronze, which was commonly used for lower-value coins in the British currency system before the introduction of cupronickel and other alloys in later years. The 1917 one-penny coin features the traditional design that had been in use since 1902, with the exception of the date and some subtle adjustments to its appearance during this period. Portrait of King George V. The obverse side of the 1917 one-penny coin features a portrait of King George V, who reigned from 1910 to 1936. This design was created by the famous engraver Sir Edgar Bertram Mackennal and was used on many British coins during his reign. King George V's portrait is depicted in left-facing profile, with a crown on his head and a laurel wreath around his neck. His name, Georgives VDG Brit Ormen Rex FD INDIMP, surrounds the image, meaning George V, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. Penny design. The reverse of the coin features the well-known design of a seated Britannia holding a trident in her right hand and a shield in her left hand, with the Union Jack draped over the shield. The word one penny is inscribed above Britannia, and the date 1917 is placed beneath her. Symbolism of Britannia. Britannia, a female personification of Britain, is depicted as a symbol of strength, unity, and national identity. The trident represents Britain's naval power, and the shield signifies protection. The design invokes patriotism and national pride, especially during the tumultuous years of World War I. The reverse design was created by Thomas Humphrey Paget, an artist and engraver for the Royal Mint. His design was used for many years, starting in 1895. The Royal Mint produced the 1917 one-penny coin at its facilities, which, at the time, were in London. The Mint also had various other locations, but London remained the central hub for coin production. The mintage figures for the 1917 one-penny coin were significant, as this was a regular circulating coin, but the exact numbers are less clear. The 1917 penny was minted in large quantities to support the economy during the war, although wartime shortages of metals made coin production challenging. Material. The 1917 one-penny coin is made of bronze, an alloy composed mainly of copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc. Bronze was commonly used for British pennies from 1860 to 1967. Weight. The coin weighs 9.45 grams, which was standard for the penny at the time. Diameter. The coin has a diameter of 30.9 millimeters. Thickness. It measures 1.8 millimeters in thickness. Geography. The British Empire during the era. The 1917 one-penny coin also reflects the geography and global significance of Britain during the early 20th century. In 1917, the British Empire was at its height, with vast territories in Africa, Asia, the Americas, and Oceania. It was one of the most powerful empires in the world. King George V was not only the monarch of Britain but also the Emperor of India, and the British Empire controlled large parts of Africa, the Caribbean, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and many Pacific islands. The coin's design, particularly the figure of Britannia, symbolizes the imperial strength and the idea of the British Empire as a world power. The penny was a commonly used coin in Britain and the wider empire. It was vital for small transactions, and its presence in the economy was widespread. In 1917, British citizens and colonial subjects used pennies for everyday goods, making this coin a symbol of daily life and the working class. The year 1917 was crucial in the First World War. The Battle of Passchendaele was fought that year, and the Russian Revolution began, which had significant repercussions for the war's outcome. The United States had also entered the war in 1917, tipping the balance in favor of the Allied forces. Despite the tumult of war, Britain continued to mint its coins, maintaining a semblance of normalcy amid the chaos. The 1917 one-penny coin was not only a symbol of the currency system but also an emblem of British perseverance during a time of global conflict. Over time, the 1917 British one-penny coin has become a collectible item for numismatists and historians. Its value depends on its condition and rarity. Condition: coins in better condition, such as uncirculated or those with minimal wear, tend to fetch higher prices. Rarity: while not extremely rare, certain versions of the 1917 penny may have low mintage numbers, adding to their collectability. In the modern market, the 1917 one-penny coin is relatively affordable for collectors, with prices varying from a few pounds for common examples to more for coins in excellent condition. The 1917 British one-penny coin is a fascinating piece of history, encapsulating the essence of both the First World War era and the traditions of British coinage. The coin's design, featuring King George V and Britannia, speaks to the national identity, strength, and resilience of the British people at a time when they were fighting a global conflict. As a collectible, the 1917 penny continues to offer valuable insights into the past, and its connection to the larger context of the British Empire makes it an enduring symbol of a pivotal moment in history. The British one-penny coin of 1938 holds historical, economic, and cultural significance in the United Kingdom. It was part of the coinage system used in Britain before the decimalization of currency in 1971 and carries a story that spans several centuries of British coinage. Before the decimalization of British currency in 1971, the United Kingdom used a system that was based on pounds, shillings, and pence. The coinage system was divided into 240 pennies, d, to the pound, with 20 shillings, s, in a pound. Each shilling was subdivided into 12 pennies. Therefore, there were 240 pennies in 1 pound. The penny coin itself was a core part of this pre-decimal system. The one-penny coin was initially made of bronze and had various designs throughout its history. Coins were minted with different sizes and designs, reflecting changes in the monarchy, political climates, and economic situations over time. The British one-penny coin minted in 1938 is part of a long-standing tradition of coinage that can be traced back to the early Middle Ages. In 1938, the British currency was still firmly rooted in the pre-decimal system, where 240 pennies made up 1 pound. The year 1938 holds significance because it was the last year before the outbreak of World War II, and the coin's design is reflective of the interwar period in Britain. The 1938 one-penny coin had a relatively simple yet symbolic design, with a few notable elements. 1. Obverse. Front. The obverse of the 1938 penny featured a portrait of King George V, who had been reigning since 1910. This portrait was designed by Sir Edgar Bertram MacKennell, a renowned British sculptor. King George V's portrait was seen on British coinage from 1911 until his death in 1936. However, the 1938 coin was minted in the final years of King George V's reign. The legend around the portrait read, George's VDG Brit OMN Rex FDINDIMP, which translates to George V, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. 2. Reverse. Back, the reverse of the coin featured a design that was highly symbolic of the United Kingdom's agricultural heritage. The design was created by Sir Thomas Humphrey Paget, who also designed many of the coins of this era. The reverse depicted a sheaf of wheat, a symbol of Britain's agricultural economy. The penny, being the lowest denomination in the coinage system, was a reflection of everyday life for common people, and the wheat sheaf served to reflect this. The coin's inscription read 1 penny above the wheat sheaf. The date, 1938, was inscribed below. The 1938 1-penny coin was made from bronze, a metal alloy consisting mainly of copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc. This material was chosen for its durability and ability to withstand wear and tear from circulation. Diameter, 30.8 millimeters. Weight, 9.45 grams. These specifications were consistent with the size and weight of British pennies during the first half of the 20th century. 1. The reign of King George V. King George V's reign marked a period of both stability and uncertainty in Britain. In 1938, however, King George V had passed away in 1936, and his son, King Edward VIII, briefly took the throne before abdicating in December 1936. This led to the ascension of King George VI, father of Queen Elizabeth II, who ruled during the Second World War. King George VI's image began appearing on British coinage after 1937, but coins like the 1-penny coin from 1938 still bore the design of his father, King George V, due to the minting schedule and the speed of changeover. 2. The prelude to World War II. In 1938, Britain was on the verge of war. The year marked a time of rising tension in Europe, with Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime in Germany expanding its territorial ambitions. The Munich Agreement was signed in September 1938, allowing Hitler to annex parts of Czechoslovakia. Britain, along with France, had adopted a policy of appeasement, which was widely seen as a futile effort to avoid war. These tensions would soon lead to the outbreak of World War II in 1939. 3. The economic climate. The late 1930s were a time of recovery from the Great Depression, which had significantly affected Britain and much of the world in the early part of the decade. By 1938, economic conditions were beginning to stabilize, and the British government was investing in rearmament in preparation for the looming conflict. Coinage like the 1-penny would have been in daily circulation, used by the general populace who were experiencing the pressures of economic challenges, unemployment, and the growing specter of war. In 1938, the British Empire was still at its height, with the British government controlling vast territories around the globe. These included countries across Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and the Pacific. The 1-penny coin, while primarily used in the United Kingdom, was part of a wider system of British imperial coinage that circulated in many of these territories. The British Isles. The 1-penny coin was primarily used in Great Britain, comprising England, Scotland, and Wales, and Northern Ireland. The coin was an integral part of the daily life of the British population, who used it for small transactions, particularly for basic goods like bread, milk, and public transportation. British Empire. The 1-penny coin was also used in many British colonies and territories, though local coins were often used for smaller denominations. The coin symbolized British rule and the economic power of the empire. At its peak, the British Empire covered nearly a quarter of the world's landmass, with significant influence in parts of Africa, the Caribbean, and South Asia. The 1-penny coin, along with all other British currency, remained in circulation until 1971, when the United Kingdom decimalized its currency. This meant that the pound was now divided into 100 new pence instead of 240 old pennies. The traditional 1-penny coin was phased out over time, but its legacy remains strong in British culture. Coins from 1938, especially those in good condition or with specific mint marks, are sought after by collectors today. The 1938 British 1-penny is seen as part of a fascinating historical era, reflecting both the end of an era in coinage and the beginning of major global changes. As such, it is often valued by numismatists and collectors interested in the reign of King George V, the history of British currency, and the events leading up to World War II. The 1938 one-penny coin is also remembered as a piece of everyday history for those who lived through it, providing a glimpse into the economic realities of pre-war Britain. The British one-penny coin from 1938 represents a time of transition for both the United Kingdom and the world at large. From its design to its role in the daily lives of the British people, the coin captures a moment in history that is now distant yet remains relevant through its enduring legacy in the world of numismatics. The British one-penny coin from 1963 holds significant historical, economic, and cultural relevance. In this comprehensive breakdown, we will explore its origins, design changes, usage, and its role in British society, along with the historical and geographical context of the United Kingdom during the year of its minting. The one-penny coin, 1d, is a small denomination of British currency that has been in circulation for centuries. The coin's value, traditionally one of the lowest in the British currency system, has seen various changes in design, size, material, and historical significance over time. In 1963, the British one-penny coin was part of the pre-decimal currency system used in the United Kingdom, which included 240 pennies, denoted as d, to a pound, 1 pound. The coin played an essential role in everyday transactions, particularly in retail and small purchases. United Kingdom in 1963. Political context. The United Kingdom in 1963 was under the leadership of Harold Macmillan, the Prime Minister. The country was part of the Commonwealth of Nations, and its economy was still recovering from the effects of World War II, although it was facing emerging challenges such as decolonization and the decline of its imperial influence. Economic context. The UK was on the brink of significant economic changes in 1963. The pound was devalued in the previous decade, 1949, and the country was still adjusting to the costs of the welfare state, which had been established after the war. In 1963, inflation was relatively moderate but on the rise, leading to discussions about the future of the British currency. Social context. The 1960s was a period of cultural revolution, with significant social changes, especially in the areas of music, fashion, and youth culture. The year 1963 was the time when the Beatles became internationally famous, and British culture was undergoing rapid transformation. Before the decimalization of the British currency in 1971, the UK operated on a pound-shilling penny system. In this system, 1 pound equals 20 shillings. 1 shilling equals 12 pennies, ones equals 12d. This system, though complex, was deeply embedded in British society, with coins of different values such as the halfpenny, 1/2d, the penny, 1d, the threepence, 3d, and others in circulation. The British one-penny coin from 1963 was minted under the authority of Queen Elizabeth II. The design and features of the coin provide insight into the artistic trends and royal symbolism of the time. Portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The obverse side of the 1963 one-penny coin features the second effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, which was designed by Mary Gillick. This particular design was used from 1953 until 1967. It shows a young Queen Elizabeth II, facing to the right, with the legend Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina surrounding the image, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. The design of the penny. The reverse side of the 1963 penny, designed by Gilbert Bayes, features a seated Britannia, a figure representing Britain. She is holding a trident, seated on a rock, with a shield resting by her side. Britannia is a classical symbol of British identity and power, with a long history dating back to Roman times. Above her is the inscription 1 penny, and below is the year of minting, 1963. Symbolism. Britannia has long been a symbol of British strength, heritage, and imperial glory, representing the British Empire and its maritime dominance. The coin's design reinforced Britain's identity as a sea power and its enduring legacy in global politics and commerce. Minting location. The penny was minted at the Royal Mint, which has been producing coins for the United Kingdom since 886 AD. The Royal Mint operates from several locations, but in 1963, it was still based in Llantrisant, Wales, after it moved there in the 1960s. Material composition. The penny of 1963 was made from bronze, a combination of copper and tin. Bronze was used for British pennies from the 19th century up until 1971, when the coin was made from copper-plated steel after decimalization. Diameter and weight. The 1963 penny had a diameter of 30.8 millimeters and weighed 9.45 grams. This size was standard for pennies from the Victorian era until the decimal chong circulation and use. During the early 1960s, the 1 penny coin was widely circulated and used in everyday transactions. Prices in 1963 were relatively low compared to modern times, so small denominations like the penny were still quite valuable for everyday purchases, such as a loaf of bread, around 5 to 6 pennies, a pint of milk, approximately 6 pennies, a newspaper, about 4 pennies. For everyday working-class families, coins like the penny were essential for day-to-day transactions. Inflation and coinage. In 1963, inflation was gradually increasing, which would eventually lead to the decline in the value of smaller coins like the penny. Though still useful in everyday life, the 1 penny coin's purchasing power was slowly decreasing in the face of rising prices. Social importance. For British citizens, the penny was a key coin in everyday life. It was symbolic of the modest, working-class culture and was often involved in community activities, markets, and public life. At the time, coin collectors also began to view older pennies as historical artifacts, collecting various dates and mint marks. In 1971, the United Kingdom moved to a decimal currency system, where the pound was divided into 100 new pence rather than 240 old pennies. This marked the end of the pre-decimal 1 penny coin's long history. The old penny, 1D, was officially withdrawn from circulation, and a new decimal 1 penny coin, 1p, was introduced, with a size and value considerably different from the old version. Today, the 1963 1 penny coin is a valued collector's item, particularly among numismatists and British currency enthusiasts. While the coin's value in terms of purchasing power is minuscule, its historical significance as part of Britain's pre-decimal currency system makes it a cherished piece for collectors. Coins from specific years, especially those with errors or unusual minting marks, can be worth significantly more than their face value. The penny still exists in the United Kingdom, although its future has been under debate. The government has considered phasing out smaller denominations due to their diminishing purchasing power and the increasing cost of production. However, for historical enthusiasts and those interested in the country's monetary past, the 1963 1 penny coin remains a key piece of British history. The British 1 penny coin from 1963 encapsulates the transitionary period in British economic, social, and political life. With its rich design, historical context, and the role it played in everyday British transactions, the 1963 penny coin serves as a tangible reminder of the nation's past. The shift from a pre-decimal currency system to the modern decimal system reflects broader societal changes, and the coin is now a treasured artifact of Britain's monetary history. The 1971 Elizabeth II 2 pence coin holds significant importance in British numismatics and has a rich history tied to the United Kingdom's decimalization of its currency. This coin marks a turning point in the monetary system of the UK and provides insights into the history of British coinage, its geographical significance, and its role in the global economy. The 2 pence coin, first issued in 1971, was part of the United Kingdom's move to a decimal system of currency, a major shift from the previous system based on the pound, shilling, and penny. Prior to decimalization, there were 20 shillings in a pound and 12 pennies in a shilling. Under the old system, the basic unit of currency was the penny, but its value was much lower than the decimal system's approach. Decimalization was the result of many years of planning and discussions about simplifying the complex British currency system. The Decimal Currency Act of 1969 laid the groundwork, and the change officially took place on February 15, 1971, a day known as Decimal Day. On this day, the UK and its territories shifted from the old system to the new one, with the pound being divided into 100 new pence rather than 240 old pennies. This simplified the monetary system for the public and for businesses. The 1971 2 pence coin, issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, features some of the key characteristics of the new decimal coinage system. The obverse of the coin showcases a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, based on the image of the Queen as she appeared at the time of her coronation in 1953. This portrait is framed by the inscription Elizabeth II D. G. Reg. F. D. a Latin abbreviation for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The reverse of the coin displays a design by Christopher Ironside, which features the emblem of a 2-pence piece. The reverse shows an image of a rose, thistle, shamrock, and leek, symbols representing the 4 countries of the United Kingdom: England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. These symbols are interwoven in a manner that represents the unity of the UK. The inscription around the edge of the coin reads, New Pence, as the coin was originally introduced with this wording to indicate its new value within the decimal system. The value 2 is prominently featured on the coin as well. Physical specifications: diameter, 25.9 millimeters. Weight, 7.12 grams. Composition: initially, the 2-pence coin was made from bronze, a metal alloy of copper and tin, though the composition of British coins has evolved over time. The composition was later changed to copper-plated steel in 1992 due to cost concerns. The 1971 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin was a pivotal part of the decimalization process, symbolizing a new era of coinage for the UK. The change to decimal currency was widely regarded as a modernization effort, bringing the country in line with other nations that had already adopted a decimal currency system, such as the United States. Decimalization also helped facilitate trade with other nations, as the old system had made it more difficult to convert British currency into other currencies based on the decimal system. The reverse design of the coin with the interwoven national symbols is a direct reference to the United Kingdom's geographical makeup. The symbols themselves hold deep historical and geographical significance. The rose, a symbol of England. The rose has been associated with England since the late 15th century. It became particularly significant after the Wars of the Roses, 1455 to 1487, in which the rival houses of Lancaster, Red Rose, and York, White Rose, fought for the throne. The thistle, a symbol of Scotland. The thistle has been Scotland's national symbol for centuries. It is believed to have been adopted after a surprise attack by a group of Scots in the 13th century, where a thistle's prickles were stepped on, alerting the Scots to the invaders' presence. The shamrock, a symbol of Ireland. The shamrock, a type of clover, is widely associated with St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland. According to legend, St. Patrick used the 3 leaves of the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity to the Irish people. The leek, a symbol of Wales. The leek is a plant that has long been associated with Wales. It is most prominently worn by Welsh soldiers, and it has been a symbol of Welsh pride for centuries. The use of these 4 symbols to represent the constituent countries of the United Kingdom emphasizes the union of the nations, both historically and geographically, under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Beyond its symbolic importance, the 1971 2-pence coin played a key role in the everyday economy. It was widely used in shops, vending machines, and transportation systems. However, its value has decreased over time due to inflation, and today, the 2-pence coin is one of the smallest denominations in circulation in the UK. The coin is also notable for being part of the last major overhaul of the British currency system in the 20th century. While it remains in circulation, its economic role is much smaller than it once was. The UK's monetary policy has continued to evolve, with inflation leading to the rise of larger coins like the £1 and £2 coins, which were introduced in subsequent decades. Changes to the coin over time. After 1971, the design of the 2-pence coin remained largely unchanged for several decades. However, in 2008, the coin's composition was altered. The minting process changed from bronze to copper-plated steel, reflecting the rising costs of metal production and the need for more affordable and durable materials for coinage. Despite the changes in material, the basic design of the 2-pence coin has remained the same since its inception. The obverse features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, while the reverse retains the design with the rose, thistle, shamrock, and leek symbols. The 1971 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin holds value for collectors, especially those who focus on the history of the UK's decimalization period. While the coin is not rare and does not command a significant premium above face value in the marketplace, coins in excellent condition or those with unique variations may be worth more to collectors. As with many coins, the 1971 2-pence coin is prized for its role in the historic shift to decimal currency. The 1971 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin serves as an important relic of British history, reflecting the UK's transition from the old imperial currency system to the modern decimal system. It carries deep historical, geographical, and cultural significance, as it features symbolic representations of England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. As part of the nation's decimalization effort, it played an essential role in simplifying the UK's monetary system and remains a valuable piece of history, both in terms of numismatics and British heritage. The Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from 1996 is a significant part of the British currency history. It forms part of the decimal system introduced in 1971, which replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a system where £1 is divided into 100 pence. Here's a detailed history and geographical context surrounding this coin. The 2-pence coin, alongside other coins in the decimal system, was introduced on February 15, 1971 as part of the UK's move from the old currency system, based on 240 pennies to a pound, to the decimal system, where a pound was subdivided into 100 pence. The goal of decimalization was to simplify the system and make it easier to calculate prices, and it applied to both banknotes and coins. Before the decimalization, the 2-pence value existed but was part of the old system, 2 old pennies. With decimalization, the 2p coin was introduced as a new coin worth exactly 2 pence in the decimal system. The Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from 1996 falls into the period when the UK was fully adjusting to the decimal system. It features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which has been a consistent motif on British coinage since her coronation in 1953. Obverse. Front. The obverse features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The design was created by artist Arnold Machin in 1964. The Queen is shown facing right, wearing a tiara, and the inscription around the rim reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD. This stands for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Reverse. Back. The reverse features a design created by Christopher Ironside. It shows a stylized rose, thistle, shamrock, and leek, representing the 4 nations of the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. These symbols are arranged to form a single, unified design, with a rose, England, thistle, Scotland, shamrock, Ireland, and leek, Wales. The coin's value, 2 pence, is inscribed below the design, and the year of minting, 1996, is placed beneath that. The design is simple yet deeply symbolic, representing unity among the constituent nations of the UK. The 2-pence coin is produced by the Royal Mint, which has a long history of producing British coinage since its establishment in 886 AD. The Royal Mint has produced billions of coins over its long history. The 1996 2-pence coin was minted as part of the regular coinage production in the mid-1990s, with mintages of circulating coins typically numbering in the hundreds of millions. The exact mintage of the 1996 2-pence coin is not universally stated, but it was produced in large quantities for circulation across the UK. The Elizabeth II 2-pence coin is part of the currency used in the United Kingdom, which, in 1996, was made up of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. The UK has a long-standing history of minting its currency in London, though production has also occurred at other Royal Mint locations over time. In 1996, the UK was not yet part of the European Union's monetary system, and it continued to use the British pound and pence as its official currency. Despite being a member of the EU since 1973, the UK kept its currency, rejecting the European Monetary Union's single currency, the euro, which was introduced in 1999 for several EU countries. The 2p coin is one of the smallest denominations in British currency. In 1996, 2p had a relatively small purchasing power, though it was essential for day-to-day transactions. Over time, inflation has reduced the purchasing power of the 2p coin, which led to debates about whether low-value coins should be withdrawn from circulation or not. Nonetheless, the 2p coin remains in circulation today. It's used in combination with other small-value coins to make up prices for everyday items, though it's not as commonly seen in daily transactions due to the increasing use of digital payments. While the 2p coin is a small denomination, it is still collected by numismatists. Coins from different years and with different mintages or special features, like proof versions, special editions, or errors in production, can have collector value. However, the 1996 2p coin is generally not considered rare in the traditional sense, as it was produced in large numbers for circulation. The condition of the coin plays a significant role in determining its collectability and value. Coins that are well-preserved, uncirculated, or in mint condition are always in demand among collectors. The Royal Mint has a storied history of producing British coinage, and it remains responsible for all coin production in the UK. The Mint operates out of a facility in Llantrisant, Wales, although its headquarters were originally in London. The Mint has been producing coins for over 1,000 years, and in 1996, it was still a major entity in producing coins for both circulation and special commemorative editions. The Royal Mint is also responsible for creating coins for other nations, as it has historically had a role in minting currency for countries within the Commonwealth of Nations, which includes places like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. The 2p coin and the larger set of decimal coins are an important part of British history. The adoption of decimal currency was a major shift in how money was conceptualized in the UK, and it marked a step towards modernizing British financial systems and simplifying trade. The 1996 2p coin also falls within the broader context of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. As the longest-reigning British monarch, Queen Elizabeth II's image has been on British coins for over 70 years, making her one of the most minted figures in numismatic history. The 1996 2p coin is also part of the historical narrative of the 1990s UK economy. During this period, the UK was experiencing economic growth, following a series of reforms in the 1980s under Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and continuing with John Major in the early 1990s. These were years of relative stability and gradual growth before the 2008 global financial crisis. The Elizabeth II 2p coin from 1996 is more than just a piece of currency. It represents an important transition in British monetary history. Its simple design, featuring the Queen and the floral emblems of the United Kingdom, continues to symbolize the nation's heritage and unity. While it's a small coin in value, it has remained a staple of everyday British life, contributing to the economic fabric of the country. Though it might not carry the same purchasing power as it once did, it remains a symbol of the UK's long-standing traditions, its monarchy, and the evolution of its economic and currency systems. The coin's place in history is a testament to both the stability and the ongoing change within the United Kingdom. Over the course of the 20th century, British coins evolved alongside political, economic, and technological changes. The 1p coin in 1917, 1938, and 1963 reflects Britain's shifting imperial identity, economic challenges, and the changing role of monarchy and symbolism. The 2p coin, introduced in 1971 and continued in 1996, marks a critical turning point in Britain's currency system with the shift to decimalization and the nation's ongoing adjustments to the evolving global economy.